This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show today. Tim will be back next week. I know a lot of people out there are getting ready for the 4th of July holiday. Heck, a lot of you are probably like Tim, already enjoying the 4th of July holiday, Graham. But
Jealous.
You and I, we are here.
We have a responsibility.
We do. I'll be here Friday. You won't. I'm thinking pretty much riding solo on Friday. It's going to be what it is. But you know what? That's fine. There are things to talk about, including the big topic that's going on, at least in this area and a big fan base, is the Carolina Hurricanes. And we've talked a ton about the Carolina Hurricanes, obviously this week with NHL free agency starting on Monday, and just leading up to it because there's so many conversations around, is the team going to re-sign Jake Gensel? They're going to trade Martin Necas, so on and so forth. But the big question now that the bulk of the vast majority of free agency done, at least the big names and all that have signed. There might be a couple of small deals here and there, but otherwise the big ticket names are done. Now there's still restricted free agents like Seth Jarvis. There's still guys like Jack Drury. What's going to be their future? What contracts are they going to sign? So on and so forth. So there's still some decisions to be made, but in terms of bringing in outside guys via free agency, for the most part, that's done. And the big question that I'm seeing, I know you've seen it, Graham. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube Live right now on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page, you can follow us along right there. We read the comments, Graham, all the time in the comment section on the videos that we post, just to kind of get a gauge what the fan base is saying, how people are reacting. And we constantly are seeing the question of, is this a playoff team?
Yeah, we went straight from Chicken Little, the sky is falling yesterday to now asking the big question of, hey, let's forget there's still an 82-game season to play next year. Is this team playoff contingent for next season?
There's still a ton that has to be determined between now and the end of the regular season, which is in April. But nonetheless, the big question is among Carolina Hurricanes fans, is the Canes still a playoff team? We've had some pretty good success here over the last 6 seasons. 6 straight trips to the playoff. The only team in the NHL to have won a postseason series over the last 6 years, or each of the last 6 seasons, it's been the Carolina Hurricanes. But the question is, looking at it on paper, with all that they've lost from Jake Gensel, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, Stefan Nason, Teuvo Teravainen, all gone. All gone. I'll even throw Tony DeAngelo into that mix too. All gone. Are they a playoff team? All right, look at some of the guys they brought in. Shane Gostisbehere, whom we'll hear that conversation. He and I got a chance to talk earlier today. We'll have that conversation for you at 3:30. So Shane Gostisbehere, Carolina Hurricanes defenseman, coming back to Carolina after spending last year in Detroit. We'll talk to him at 3:30. So you look at him on the blue line along with Sean Walker and some of the other guys like William Carrier, who officially signed his contract today. Was officially announced. Jordan Martinook coming back. Jalen Chatfield coming back. And a few other signings that are kind of more like on the more depth players, like more like third, fourth line type guys. So the question is, again, are they a playoff team? I say yes. But that margin is very, very thin. Looking at it on paper, that margin is very, very thin. The reason why I say yes is a few things. One, culture. There's a standard that's set now of that team, and there are guys in that locker room that already understand what the expectation is from the head coach and the organization, the expectations they set that themselves. It's not like the Arizona Coyotes, now the Utah Hockey Club. It's not like them. Or the Anaheim Ducks, where there is no standard or expectation of winning. That's different here. Like, last time I checked, Aho, Svech, Slavin, Stahl, Martinook, many of these guys have been in this locker room over the last several seasons with the expectation of winning. So that standard is there. The culture of the team. We'll actually hear some sound bites from Jordan Martinook. Actually, speaking of Jordan Martinook, he spoke to the media earlier today. Talk about that culture, that chemistry in the locker room. He discussed how important it is.
We got a bunch of great guys in our room and good leadership. And obviously it starts at the top with Roddy. And I think the team has done a great job of bringing in good people. And then if you're the good people just kind of mesh together, and it makes it easy to be a locker room guy, or make it easy to have a good locker room when you have good people in there that just want one common goal. And that's been a big part of what the Hurricanes have been, and it's made my job, I guess, if that's what you're calling it, pretty easy.
So yes, that does matter. The chemistry in the locker room, how the guys interact with each other, how they gel together, all that stuff does matter. It's not like you have a collection of guys who, hey, I'm here for me and a paycheck. I'm just here to, boost my own numbers so the next contract rolls around, I can get the highest dollar. Like, it's not that selfish style of play. And speaking of style of play, let's be honest, the system that the Carolina Hurricanes play will keep them in every game this season. It's just a fact. It's very rare that the Carolina Hurricanes get blown out. It happens on occasion because it's 82 games. It happens. We've seen it happen before. But for the most part, they're in every single game this season. Their system allows that. We talked to Sean Walker the other day, back on Tuesday. No, it was Monday. Apologies. We talked to Sean Walker, one of their latest signings, and he said, when we asked him what's the perception of the Carolina Hurricanes from like another team standpoint, because he played for a long time with the LA Kings, played a little bit of time in Philadelphia, played with the Colorado Avalanche some last year as well, and it's just the perception of the team is, you're in for it. Like, you're going to have to skate your tail off. They're going to press you all over the ice, and it's not going to be an easy night. And there have been plenty of times, Graham, I know you and I will go down into the locker rooms post-game. I actually sometimes will actually go to the visiting team's locker room, and I constantly hear the other team saying, like, I hate playing those guys. Like, I just do. Because they just, I hate playing those guys just because it's just relentless pressure night in and night out. They give you zero room to breathe. So that gives you a style of play that's going to keep you in every single game. But the big question is, where's the goal scoring coming from? I feel like they've done a pretty good job replacing Brady Shea and Brett Pesce with Gostisbehere and Walker, but where does the goal scoring come from? So based on the number of goals the Carolina Hurricanes scored last year as a team, and the goals they scored by players no longer with the team anymore. So they scored, from recall, 277 goals in the regular season last year. Based on guys that are no longer on the team now, so that's Gensel. I'm factoring in the number of goals Gensel scored with Carolina, not what he did in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Gensel, gone. Teravainen, gone. Nason. I even threw in guys like Tony DeAngelo and so forth. Pesce, all those things. Carolina needs to replace about 29% of its goal scoring, 28.9% to be exact. That's a lot. That's a lot. The number in the playoffs, they scored 38 goals in the playoffs this past year. 11 of those playoff goals are no longer with the team. 28.9%. Again, that's a lot. Again, about 80 regular season goals. So it's basically one goal per game. No longer there. How are you going to find one goal per game? And it's also 11 postseason goals that are missing. How can it be replaced? A few things. One, a healthy Andrei Svechnikov. Svech last year only played in 59 games. He missed time at the start of the year rehabbing from the knee injury that he suffered at the end of the 2023 season. Missed some times at few points during the regular season. 19 goals, 33 assists. Is it too much for Andrei Svechnikov, a former second overall pick, now going into age 24, to be a 30-35 goal scorer? Is that too much to ask? Look back to 2021-2022. He played 78 games, 30 goals, 39 assists, 69 points. Nice season. He has to stay healthy. Second one, Evgeny Kuznetsov. Can he return to just being a 20-goal scorer? Not expecting him to be the 70-plus point guy that he was in Washington, but can he put up 20 and 25? He scored twice in the regular season for the Canes last year and actually scored 4 times in the playoffs. Tied for second on the team, by the way, in the postseason. He missed a lot of time in the NHL assistance program before Carolina acquired him. So being out of the game for a while, I'm talking several weeks, like a couple months nearly. He was out of, just wasn't playing any hockey. All of a sudden, gets traded, adjusting to a new style, which we've said it before, it can be very difficult for guys to adjust to the man-on-man defensive style. So he wasn't super productive in the regular season, but we did see him have production in the postseason. With an offseason to train, knowing the system and what's expected, can he return to being a 20-goal scorer? I think he's capable of being that. He's been there before. And last one, I'll throw this one out there too. Carolina Hurricanes have flirted with signing Vladimir Tarasenko reportedly in the past. Why not bring him in for 1 year? 1 year, hired gun. Now the question is, can he play in Carolina's system? Well, he won a Stanley Cup just now with Florida. Now he started the year in Ottawa. They acquired him close to the trade deadline. Florida runs the same man-on-man system that the Carolina Hurricanes do and won a cup. So can he do it? Yeah. Hired gun. Make it happen. Just for one season. Not asking for a long-term deal. 1 year. Make it happen. What, you think he can't get you 20? Think he can't get you 20 goals? I think he can. So, are the Carolina Hurricanes a playoff team? I say yes. You might disagree. That's totally fine. You have your right to think that. And you know what? You could argue it and say, no, they're not. But the margin of error is going to be small. If you look at the division, Rangers are still going to be good. I think the Devils have a bounce back year. Islanders still don't scare me. Washington still doesn't scare me. Philadelphia doesn't scare me. Columbus doesn't scare me. Pittsburgh's old. They don't scare me.
One thing's for certain is that they'll probably get another first-round series win when they have to play. Play
the Islanders again.
Yeah, the Islanders, the Flyers.
They might finish third in the Metropolitan Division the way things look right now for Carolina. But guess what that gets you? In the playoffs. And that's the only thing that matters. Get in the playoffs, then let the playoffs take care of itself. We saw Florida just a couple seasons ago go from as the 8th seed, the last team in, get all the way to the Cup Finals. Just got to get into the playoffs. Then once you get into the playoffs, like they say, records are 0-0. So yes, I think the Canes right now are a Cup team. Margin of error, though, on paper, thin. Might even be paper thin.